Hey everyone, and welcome back or welcome to the channel. If you own a Subaru WRX, BRZ, or GR86, it's likely you have some ultra suede trim pieces found throughout your interior. Whether it's on the dashboard, door panels, center armrest, center console, possibly even your seats as well, depending on what trim you have chosen. Or you're like me, and you went the aftermarket route. You saw Subaru's OEM accessories page and you said, I'm going for the ultra suede trim because I don't have that on my WRX. And I have to say, this ultra suede trim makes the interior feel a bit more premium, right? Gives you more of an authentic performance car experience because Subaru loves using their plastic materials, which, yes, looks cheap and tacky, but is also easier to clean. You can use an all-purpose cleaner like Rio's Garage, which I swear by. I think this stuff is fantastic. I've been using it on multiple vehicles I have owned throughout the years. I'm not paid by them, but I think this is probably the best APC out there. However, if you have some ultra suede trim for your interior, you can't use that. You're going to need something a bit more purpose-built and purpose-made. You're going to have companies out there like Adams Polishes, Dr. Beasley's, maybe even Black Label. I landed on Sonax. Now, I watched a number of reviews on this, and I liked what people had to say about it, so I decided, why didn't I go out and buy it myself and try it on the ultra suede trim pieces? Because even when I bought them, they didn't look that nice. They looked good, but I felt like, you know, this is far from being like an Alcantara or even a micro suede. So I wanted to see if there was something that I can make it look a bit more cleaner and maybe even fresher than when I bought it brand new. And I think that Sonax might be the answer to my problems. However, this is not going to be a product demonstration video. There's a number of those out on YouTube. This is more of my own thoughts and opinions on this product, the do's and don'ts, and why this might be a good product for your WRX or BRZ, or maybe another type of Alcantara or upholstery cleaner would be a better choice. So let's dive right into this video. When you take a look at the back label of your Sonax product, it tells you to shake well before use, obviously. Now, it is a foaming product, but first they tell you to use a light mist onto your Alcantara or upholstery, which I would definitely recommend. Some people do use a damp microfiber cloth, which that I would not do, mostly because what is the proper amount of wetness or dampness to your cloth before applying, because you can end up putting in too much water on your ultra suede trim. So I would just say use a light mist with distilled water. When you do apply the Sonax onto your trim pieces, I would say just use a microfiber cloth or detailing pad and just scrub it in there. One direction, both ways, west to east, east to west, north to south, south to north, and just get that into your ultra suede trim. Now, you can use a brush, but I would say hold off on that depending on what your ultra suede trim needs. If it's brand new, the brush might not even be necessary. But if you have spilt some water, some coffee, some other stuff on your ultra suede trim, then I would say use that brush. Now, let it soak in there, and then after a few minutes, if you want to use your Sonax brush or other upholstery brushes, you can do so very easily. Also, you don't want to use a very stiff brush because then you can damage your ultra suede trim. I will say that for my situation, one pass was more than enough. All you're really looking for is to get that pattern going here for your ultra suede trim, which I think it did a really fantastic job on. Then after you're done with the brushing, you wait a few minutes and then you use a clean microfiber cloth and wipe it down. That's all you really need to do. This is not a very difficult process at all, especially if you just purchased your WRX or BRZ. Now, I will say, though, that in regards to the Sonax product, I was very impressed with the results. I thought that my ultra suede trim looked better than new. However, I think that it's a bit of an overkill to use Sonax, at least for my application. If you have seats, if you have a steering wheel, if you have ultra suede trim on your door panels, by all means, use Sonax. But if you're like me and you have a Subaru WRX that did not come with ultra suede trim upholstery for your seats and all you did was buy some OEM accessories, I think it's possible that a Dr. Beasley's or Adams Polishes would be a better choice. Now, I'm going to have to try that out for myself, though, before I really stand by that particular statement. But if you are someone looking at cleaning your ultra suede trim, Sonax might not be the one and only solution here. Now, I will say, though, that I'm very happy with the results. I would give it a 5-star in that regard. However, the one thing I do not like about the Sonax Upholstery and Alcantara Cleaner is its smell. Some people have noted the smell, saying it smells great, has a nice minty freshness to it. Now, for me, maybe it's just my sensitivity to what I'm smelling here. It kind of smells a little bleachy, and it lingers a bit, so you're going to need to air out your car, and that was one thing I did not like. I prefer a scentless application to my interior trim pieces. That's just me, though. But with that all being said, do I recommend going with Sonax Alcantara and Upholstery Cleaner, despite the fact that it is rather expensive? I paid close to 20 bucks here, so it had to do a pretty good job, or I was not going to be very happy, but the reviews were most certainly accurate with this. I would absolutely recommend using the Sonax Upholstery Cleaner, whether you have a WRX like myself, or maybe even a BRZ or GR86 with a lot of ultra suede trim. I think this is better used for those of you with a lot of ultra suede trim, whereas for myself, this might be a bit of an exaggeration. It might be a bit more of an overkill for what I need it to do, but I do think it is a nice baseline where, you know, for a first-time use, I absolutely love how my ultra suede trim looks. I now have a weave here where I can now see the up and down patterns or side-to-side patterns. I did not see that when I first got these ultra suede trim pieces from the factory. So I think Sonax did more than enough here for myself. I think it's a great product. I think it does exactly what it says it's going to do. And like I said before, if you have a lot of ultra suede trim, whether it's on your steering wheel or your seats, definitely buy this product. But I think that if you're someone with just some minor ultra suede trim here and there, could probably be more than happy with an As Polishes or Dr. Beasley's. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this very quick video on the Sonax Alcantara and Upholstery Cleaner. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, if this is going to be a great product for you, or if you have used this on your car. Let me know if you have experienced the same thing, where it definitely made the Alcantara or ultra suede trim look a lot better than it did brand new. But like I said before though, I think there's a number of products out there that will be a better fit for this specific application and situation, whether it is As Polishes, Dr. Beasley's, or anything else out there, because I don't have a lot of it in my car. But I will say that the Sonax did a fantastic job and most certainly met my expectations. So guys, once again, thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys next time.